Hi, guys.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. And so, well, now you've been a couple of months into residency. Can you tell us a little bit about what a church residency is, and is it what you expected?
Okay. So what it is like drinking water through a fire hose. That's what it has been for me and my family. I was teaching last year. I was a fifth grade teacher. So just dealing with that day by day, and then now becoming a residency, I was like, okay, I could take a load off. You know, I had to deal with kids and everything, but now I'm having the same expression coming home. My wife like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not okay. But it's a good experience because at the end of the day, this is what God has called us to do, the purpose that He has put on my life, and I can't run from it anymore. And that's the biggest thing. So I'm willing to go through whatever I have to do in order to help God's people. And that's what a calling is all about. It's not being comfortable. It's about doing God's will. So for me, going into it, my mind was like, okay, I'm going to be learning from Brian and kind of learn, but trying to chase him every day, it's a task, but I love the experience.
Yes, so I knew that it was going to be a faith walk. Like Troy said, him coming home every day as a teacher, it was stressful. It was very taxing on his mental, physical. It was just a lot. And so I wanted to see him kind of step out on faith and fully walk in his purpose so that he can be a better servant to the community, better servant to his family, and that's exactly what's happening. So I'm thankful for that.
So what difference does a year or more make for you in this residency?
It makes a huge difference. Just learning how to make an impact in the community, doing God's will. We was about to start in our basement, like literally, when God called us into ministry. We was like, okay, we're going to get a couple friends, and but I didn't know how to really do the business side of church and really have that impact that I wanted, what God was calling me to do. So having a year or so in residency just teach us so much, and it's growing me as a man. I think that's the biggest thing. We talk about, what we're going to do for the church, but me individually, it's building me up of who I'm created to be. I like to look at it as, hey, you can be planted all day, but somebody has to water that plant, and then God will give the increase. So somebody have to water it. And that's why I said the fire hose is really coming right now. But that's what it takes for me to grow from a boy into ministry, into a man who God called me to be.
And so you've already been here for a couple of months. What difference has that made already?
And then I'll talk afterwards.
Okay. So I have been literally just following the blueprint of how to make disciples. The difference that I thought was it was my job to build a church. No, Jesus built the church. It's our job to go out and make disciples. So I thought that I was going to start a church and build it the way that I wanted to build it. No, let God take control of that. Our job is to go out and make disciples and baptize. And that's the huge difference that I have made in my life, where I'm like, okay, let me start an MC, because I didn't know what MC meant. I didn't know what MC was at the beginning. I'm like, so who is the rapper here at church? Like, what is an MC? Like, what do that mean? So when they explained, I said, oh, got it. I got it. So me and a couple young men as well has been just meeting every first Saturday. My wife has been getting women together as well, just discipling. And that's the way to go, because that's what our commission was from the beginning.
Thank you. I think a year in residency is just going to change our perspective on what church is. Making sure that we know how to do ministry and balance life. is really, really big for us. But then also a year in residency would mean, I just lost my train of thought. But that would mean, or I think one of the biggest things is the structure, like what to do on a typical day. And then how can we just be more impactful in our small steps. And so some of the things that we've been learning, we've been able to implement them not only for ministry, but in our business as well. And I think a year of just being consistent and learning new habits, having new community, I think all of those things are going to be life-changing in the next year.
A lot to think about, for sure. Okay, so you guys are our third church planners in 5 years. Have you had any interactions with Mike or Ed from 1128 or Revive? And do you think anything good will come out of being a part of a church planting family tree as opposed to just planting a church and go?
Well, Mike and Ed was huge in this step for me because I was very, very skeptical of church planting. I never heard of it a day in my life. So when I met with Brian was saying these great things. We met for 2.5 hours at Starbucks. That's a lot. That's a lot of coffee. So, of course, my mind was all over the place. But I'm like, I still don't have the information that I need to take this huge faith step. And then I met with Mike and Ed. And they really sat down with me and said, hey, first of all, what are you thinking that it is? Then I'll tell you what it is. And then Mike started breaking it down, Ed started breaking it down, and I'm like, okay, now I understand. I got it. I'm off coffee now. I think I can absorb this information. And it was just great information. And just being a part of that, and then my first experience that Brian said, hey, come out to our baptismal. And to see 3 churches come together and baptize in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I cried when I got in the car. I never experienced that a day in my life, where 3 churches come together as one. And I said, I have to be a part of that. Like, I need to be a part of that. I said, I'm going to wait till I get in the car to cry, because I'm not going to cry in front of everybody because it's my first time. But when I got in the car, my wife's like, what's wrong? I said, this was amazing. Like, I want to stay. Like, can I get baptized tonight? Like, I wanted to be a part of that experience. So that alone gave me all I needed, that I need to be a part of this community, of church planting.
So we talked about the importance of church planting, and Lakepoint was a church plant. Many, many church plants. And probably there's people in this room that started their relationship with Christ through Lakepoint, or you have strengthened your relationship with Christ through Lakepoint and through these other churches. And I don't know what's much more important than that. So this is the foundation of helping people create that relationship with Christ. It is just fantastic to have the Cottons here. I remember the first time I met them, immediately I could see the joy and the energy they bring into every room they step into. And it is just a blessing to have you here at Lakepoint Church. And it's going to be a further blessing when you're the next branch on that Lakepoint family tree.